You didn't deserve this. I will avenge you. I promise. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. You caught me in the middle of my morning session. Let me preface this video by saying if you are one of the misogynistic incels coming at me for enjoying an inoffensive film, just shut the fuck up, no one cares. Go ahead, go on a walk, hang out with your pets. If you truly feel the need to leave a comment on how wrong I am, just get over it. Because every time that I'm forced to remember that I share the same oxygen as your group of people, I want to go into heart failure. If anything I said offended you in any way, that means you were one of the stinky, smelly people I was trying to insult. And if you understand that it's okay that we have different opinions on a film, and or you love this film as much as me, then you're cool, and you can continue watching this video. Before I go full force into why I love this movie, I think it is important to acknowledge the awfully big elephant in the room. This movie flopped horribly, and that will likely be the standing point of its legacy. So, what exactly went wrong in terms of factors outside of the singular experience of the movie itself? Well, let's think about it when this movie came out. Superhero movies in general, as well as the basic MCU, was crumbling. The actors' strike made it difficult to promote movies, and the title of the movie was just a bad representation of the film. No one knows what the title means. Genuinely believe that if this movie was marketed as Captain Marvel 2 alongside a December release, it would have at least doubled its box office output. The whole marketing around this movie was just so weird too. It started as trying to appeal as a standalone adventure with these fun girls, but you see the movie slowly pivot to marketing itself as the next big team-up movie that will change the course of the MCU, when it's just not that. Yeah, it has setup, but all of it feels naturally integrated into the themes and specific characters. It also doesn't help that they subconsciously made it seem like this would be connected to the previous MCU project starring Nick Fury, which is really stinky. But anyway, how do I see this movie?
That's why he's giving me! That's why he's the GOAT!
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Jokes aside, despite having obvious flaws, those flaws are minimal in my eyes, enough for this fun, superhero embraceful journey with interesting characters to be one of my favorite movies to rewatch and enjoy during any occasion. The comic bookiness of it only ever enhances alongside the fantastic direction used to make it come to the screen. They explore these characters in interesting ways, and there's some really interesting concepts explored here in general. All this can be attributed to my glorious queen Nia DaCosta. Her passion and love for these characters warms my heart and is something you feel throughout the entire runtime. This is easily the MCU movie, hell, easily the movie in the entire comic book genre that I would most love a director's cut of. This being the shortest MCU movie, and the general breakneck pace this movie goes at, it does unfortunately feel like certain aspects got shortened, and which I would have liked to see more of. Literally every deleted scene of this movie, it just makes me go crazy that we didn't have it part of the film. Please let this film be at least 2 hours. Show me the whole goodness Nia DaCosta intended. I don't want to be all like, release the DaCosta cut, but like, at the same time, come on, who's with me? Release the DaCosta cut. It's honestly heartbreaking that due to this movie flopping, her and Marvel will likely no longer collaborate because she is arguably one of the most promising talents they currently have. I mean, she is essentially Jordan Peele's apprentice, and could handle so many different tones while providing her unique creative shockwaves within them. She's also so clearly a fan of these comics and knows how to bring them to the screen. I mean, Marvel literally hired her after she came to them with her wonderful pitches of X-Men, Fantastic Four, and of course, my beloved Captain Marvel 2. She wanted to craft a movie that not only amplified the entertaining hearts of these comic book characters, but twisted them in a unique way to explore the concepts that are both creative, but in many cases also emotionally touching. She also wanted these fight scenes to stand out, as her main inspiration for these action set pieces were seeing how you could mold anime spectacles into Marvel melees. I genuinely believe this film contains the best consistent action in this entire cinematic universe due to the expert use of colors, lights, camera movements, character POVs, and this feeling of never-ending chaos that these characters feel in the beginning. But then, as the film goes on, the action slowly becomes more synchronized and confident, as to represent the trio coming together as their love is able to yield with their powerful personas. And then, as if that wasn't enough, the editing, especially with the use of split screens and voiceover POVs, really makes this feel like a comic book come to life.
Many women around the world watched Avengers Endgame and had that 6 seconds of all the Marvel women together, and I once had like chills, but I also was very annoyed. I was like, 2 hours of this, please. So it was really nice that they decided to do a team-up movie with like 3 of my favorite heroes. So that's what was most exciting. I've been a huge Marvel fan for the longest time, loved the movies, and so I always knew I wanted to be a part of the universe.
Now on to the other side of this delicious sweet treat. The main trio and their next level actresses, alongside the heartwarming dynamic they grow. Please, please, please let them have their own subplot in Doomsday. I need something. I need anything to look forward to in that Dookie movie, so please, at least give me this. Starting with the unanimous star of the show here, Iman Vellani's terrific performance as Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, aka my second favorite comic character ever. Although I gotta admit, Supergirl is trying to get really close to edging her out of the top 2. The heartwarming passion put into the creation of this film is always on full display whenever her wonderful face is on screen. It's no secret Iman Vellani was born to play this role, and arguably surpasses previous comic book casting high standards to be one of the luckiest we've ever got for a character adaptation. Seriously, Kevin, why isn't she the face of the MCU and have a trilogy planned? Do better. I love the energy she brings to life right from her first appearance. Her animated dream of what she wants. Sure, it's childish, but we immediately understand why she loves these heroes, and Carol especially. She wants to be more than herself. She wants to be a hero like the gorgeous Captain Marvel that people can literally look up to. Only she must journey into accepting that the core of her heart is what makes her different from any other hero, as it is what will bring the team together. She may not be as fearfully realistic as her idol, but her cheerful outlook is what the world needs.
I think she has certain expectations of what this teamwork should look like, and you know, from the comics and all these stories that she hears about the Avengers, and so it's not exactly what she dreamed it was going to be. So I think Kamala's kind of the glue of the group and holds these guys together.
Iman Vellani also adds some of the best comedic bits in the film. She constantly does all these silly faces that add to the believability of these characters immensely. Like, so many tiny interactions between these characters feel so real that I have to imagine they come from real life bonding these actresses had together. And alongside the physical comedy, her reactions to stuff always crack me up in ways that push past normal MCU comedy. It's not just quips, it's thought out jokes that the actresses and crew know on paper are silly, but treat it with enough respect as to live in the world as rub off on these scenarios. Speaking of those other characters, our next Marvel to talk about is the drop-dead gorgeous performance of Monica from actress Teyonah Parris, who I'd definitely say gives the best dramatic performance in this film. Her relationship with her Aunt Carol is expanded and explored in interesting ways as they are tested through all these trials. You really get to see how much they mean to each other, and how this love could have turned into spite. All up when it looks like things could naturally reconcile, the bond reaches another tragic conclusion. Their first interaction comes in swift contrast to how happy she feels surrounded by her new operation on Saber, with being rushed into reuniting with her aunt that she wasn't prepared to talk to like this. Carol notices this as an opportunity and puts aside her job as Captain Marvel in order to fully connect with her niece, but Monica cannot bring herself to do this. She wants a different way to finally confront her in a way that she doesn't feel caught off guard. But as Fury points out, family comes in ways you can't control, and that needs acceptance. Monica still doesn't quite accept this though. As she is forced to be entangled with Carol, she shelters any emotions that her heart has, and only presents herself in this professional, emotionless attitude. Ironically enough, this shell vanishes whenever Kamala is in danger. This girl that she barely knows, but grows to care about so quickly, likely due to that infective positivity I described earlier. I think that this may also just be a result of Kamala being Monica's subconscious reflection of what she used to look up to as a child. The more she is around Carol, the more she has to relive her painful memories characters, literally and figuratively. Yet, she's not the only one that has to relieve this pain, as she also sees Carol's harsh experiences and the flawed ways she tried to cope with them, but starts to see her more than the concept of Carol that she has in her mind. She obviously doesn't forgive Carol, and I like that she never does throughout the whole runtime, but grows to open up to her again.
Carol and Monica are having to find their relationship again after all this time apart. We have Miss Marvel, who idolizes Carol in the way that Monica used to when she was younger. So you have these two adults having to reconcile their relationship while this younger person is also having a relationship that mirrors the way Monica and Carol used to be together. So I find it really interesting to see them together and how they become a little bit of a sisterhood with their own like different points of view.
I also love how this movie gives her an arc of finding her place as a superhero. There's obviously the pretty funny running gag of the trio trying to come up with this hero name for her, but you also see her get more and more confident and stable with her abilities as she tests them in more and more vital ways. While on the topic of characters getting used to their abilities, I love the challenges this movie puts up for Carol. She's obviously one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, so it can be difficult to give her a proper challenge. Yeah, I believe this movie did it expertly, because they didn't just depower her, but made her use one of her biggest weaknesses against her, her ability to form proper emotional connections and work as a team. She is technically just as strong as ever, but with the newfound problema of the swap, she is forced to confront a lot more than she would have wished. This movie does a lot to strengthen her role as a hero, and how much more she could be when she knows that she doesn't have to carry the whole world on her shoulders. I like how her arc in this movie is one that many could relate to, and I love how both Kamala and Monica are necessary for her heart to go on this journey. I'd even argue that admittedly sillier ideas this movie throws, like her only being with Goose and the Singing Planet, add to this theme. I mean, whenever she has the chance to admit that she formed an emotional connection, she hides behind it as nothing more than a legal act and any old planet she helped. She is too afraid to admit that she found herself a home, because she believes she brings danger to every place she feels love with. Valkyrie's cameo also represents this. Side note, but damn, please have these two interact more and make them so gay. Why did you delete all the Val scenes from this movie? Under Marvel Studios, I am onto you. Don't pull this bullshit again, this is a threat. Brie Larson put so much into this role that means so much to me. She gets so much unnecessary hate, and the way she constantly is able to rise above it genuinely means the world to me. In the way this performance reflects on the character truly made her my idol since like 5th grade. This is easily the best use of this character in the MCU, so yeah. The Marvels is without a doubt the unsung masterpiece of the MCU. A movie that is very important to me, and also one that represents everything I love in comic book movies, as well as representing something that I feel like we surprisingly don't get enough of in this genre. Through its groovy tone, fantastic action, heartwarming characters that go on interesting journeys, some really creatively funny ideas, and the beef I consider the best thing that ever happened in the MCU. I've had to hold it in this whole video, and I'm tired. They are so freaking funny, and the perfectly set up joke that is integrated into the plot in such a stellar way. The needle drop is used really good, and they are just so adorable. Look at them! Goose, I love you! You're a top 5 MCU character, my beloved! Even if Disney and Marvel execs choose to ignore this movie for all the wrong reasons, I hope the cast and crew excels to do great things that they clearly proved that they can accomplish. I hope you grow to see this movie as a stellar accomplishment that it is. Have a good day. I have some more fun videos on the horizon, so be sure to stick around for that. And yeah, thanks for watching.
I think that aspiration to be greater than who you are is such a universal feeling regardless of gender identity, so I really hope people kind of recognize that and find ways to identify with all of our characters, and I think we all go on really, really wonderful journeys individually and as a team. So
understanding that you can't, to change the world, it can never just be on one person. It takes everybody to play their part, and that's a huge part of what this story is about. That this concept that she's holding this mantle, that she is, the mighty Captain Marvel is too much to carry. And so you realize that you need a lot of different people with special skill sets to come in and help get the job done.
I think it's an incredible metaphor with this, of learning how to be in a team, and also the very clear example that no one person can do it all. The world does not become a better place by one person, certainly not one lady. So it's with that, you need all kinds of skill sets, all kinds of people with different viewpoints and different backgrounds in order to save the world. And so it just makes so much sense, and I think it's so delightful, to see.
Yeah, and I'm the only one on a wire because I gotta go do some important business, okay? I took off in the frame like this. Ah! Legs did, and they were supposed to
We
be
did
serious.
not complete the scene.
No,
We
once
both
that
fell to
happened,
the
the
ground.
whole day was
I
like
fell onto
messed
the
up.
ground. I fell over. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't know. I thought I held it together, so I'm up at the top, swinging in the sky, like to myself, like that wasn't a good one, but no one noticed. I look down, Bree's on the floor in tears. Iman's holding her face. I was like, oh, damn, okay.